themselves with Jerusalem, God says they shall be cut in pieces. Now, I'm going to tell you the meaning behind that. Because Jerusalem is a people before it's a place.
Yes, right.
So America has burdened themselves with keeping us hostage here, because that's who we are. They're going to be cut in pieces. They took our land, our land of Jerusalem. The Bible says, you burden yourself with that, you shall be cut in pieces.
Think of all the times when they passed you over for the job. Think of all the times when you was done dirty by our enemies, man. That's the angle you got a chance. But think of your fathers if you never been to. Alright? Think when they was whipping our fathers, man, cutting our women's stomach open. Big white men beating little black women upside their head. Think of that. Some brothers' kids have died, wife has left them. Many things have happened to us, man. But in the kingdom of heaven, man, all that stuff is gonna go away. We gotta keep our mind on that. Keep the soldiers in mind of the mission. The mission is getting the kingdom of heaven. Ruling over these devils that oppress us. That's the mission. That's the goal.
Everything we're going to give you is strictly out the Bible. God answers all of our questions for us. All of them, right? Watch this. Same script. This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. Remember, the subject is freedom, right? Read. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. He says if you want freedom, you need to know the truth, because that's what's going to set you free. Sir, what is the truth? The Bible? Let's be more specific. Watch this. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 142.
Bring it on.
And thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. The what? Thy law is the truth. The laws of God is what's going to get us out of slavery. The laws of God is what's going to give us freedom.
Right.
We've been going to a church worshiping a white man that's told us we can do whatever we want to do. But let's see what happens when you do whatever you want to do. Give me Romans 6 and 23.
Bring it out.
Romans 6 and 23 will tell you what happens when you do whatever you want to do. Not when you do what God told you to do, when you do whatever you want to do. Read that. This is the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 23.
Bring it out.
For the wages of sin is death. Hold on now. Listen to that. He just said death. So we already dealing with slavery, and so on top of that, he gonna throw death on it if you do a certain thing. Read it again. For the wages of sin is death. He says the wages of sin. Sir, do you know what sin is?
Transgression of the law.
Sin is the transgression of the law. Do we know what the transgression of the law means? To everybody out here, hey, why don't y'all step closer? We brothers and sisters, we love each other, right?
That's
so
right.
the brother said that sin is the transgression of the law. All right? What does that mean? Brother right here, what does it mean if you transgress the law? What does that mean? Going against, right? Let's read that. Read. This is the book of John, chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So when you break God's law, you have committed sin. You are working iniquity. You are working sin. So when you work a job, you get a wage, right? Go back to that Romans 6 and 23. Watch this. This is the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 23. For the wages of sin, when you work sin, when you break God's law, read, is death. Read it from the top. For the wages of sin is death. You are going to die. But Christianity been telling us all this time, we can do whatever we want to do. Let me ask you this. Why would they tell you you can do whatever you want to do? Say that again?
Probably because it's not going to affect them.
It's not going to affect them? It is going to affect them. I'm going to show you how. Anybody else? Can anybody else out here tell me why the Christian church would tell you you can do whatever you want to do and God's going to love you? Can anybody? Let's start with this question. Who set up the Christian church?
The white man.
Who? But who are the Romans?
You're going to call white man.
The white man, right? The white man set up the Christian church. He tells you, so-called African Americans, that you can do whatever you want to do and God's going to still love you. So let's see if that's the case. Give me Deuteronomy 1 and 1. Watch this. Let's see what God says. Deuteronomy 1 and 1. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. So Moses just freed the children of Israel out of slavery from the Egyptians. Now he got them in the wilderness, and the book of Deuteronomy is letting you know that this is specifically written to the children of Israel. All right, so let's see what Moses is going to say to the children of Israel. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass. It's going to happen to you in the future. It's not going to happen to you today. God take his time. Sometimes he'll give you a little mercy, a little break, right? But he said it's going to happen to you in the future. Let's see what's going to happen to you. Start from the top. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and to observe to do all his commandments. So he says it's going to happen to you if you don't observe to do all of God's commandments. So if God told you to do something and you didn't do it, that means you did whatever you wanted to do. The message that the Christian church preaches, do whatever you want to do, come as you are, right? But he just said if you come and he said if I tell you to do something and you don't do it, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
All these what?
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. My man in the red hat, what's your name, brother? Jeremiah. So if you don't do, you said Jeremiah? All right, Officer Baruch. All right. So you just said, so he just said something. What did he say if you don't do what I tell you to do? What did he say gonna happen to you?
You want me? You will pay?
Huh? Step closer, brother. Step closer.
You will pay, you will
That's
suffer.
you so far away you didn't even catch it, man.
You will pay. You will suffer.
You gonna pay, you gonna suffer. I want you to use the words he used, so I'm gonna read it again. All right, watch this.
When it started, start
from the top.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments. So if you don't do all of his commandments, not just the ones you like to do, all right? Some of them is easy. Some of them, you marry a woman, who don't want to marry a woman, right? That's easy to follow. Some of them you might not like. Some of you will say, no, I learned something different here. The white man told me I could do something different. So he said, if you don't observe to do all my commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
All these what?
Curses.
All these what?
Curses. Brother, what's a curse? A curse is a good thing or a bad thing?
A bad thing.
A curse is a bad thing. So God told the Israelites, if you do whatever you want to do, you're going to be cursed. All right? Read it again.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
You are going to be overtaken by curses. All right? So remember, the question I asked was, who set up the Christian church? All right? We said the white man, right? If the white man has the children of Israel in slavery, what is the children of Israel's kryptonite? No, listen. What is Superman, right? Superman's all powerful, right? All powerful. Can't stop Superman. But if you bring kryptonite to Superman, he becomes extra weak. All right? Now you can defeat him, right? So if the children of Israel, if you have them as slavery, if you have them as slaves in your possession, what is their kryptonite? What can bring the children of Israel down? Sin. That's right. Sin can bring the children of Israel down. That's why the Christian church told you to do whatever you want to do, because they were going to bring you down. So let's read some of these curses. Give me 43.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 43. The strangers that is within thee shall get above thee very high.
So the other nations that's around the children of Israel, if they're committing sins, one of the curses that they're going to face is the other nations that's around them are going to get up very high.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And the nation of Israel is going to come down very low. So if you have the children of Israel in slavery and you want them to remain very low, you tell them, eat the swine. You tell them, whore out your sisters. You tell them, you don't have to keep God's Sabbath day. But we're going to find out today that all of that is false, right? Keep reading.
Verse 44. He shall lend to thee.
It said these other nations that get very powerful, they're going to lend to you.
And thou shalt not lend to him.
But we're not going to be, the nation of Israel is not going to be able to lend to them. Brother, where's the black bank at?
Find me one, I don't know.
They don't exist, brother. Fifth Third Bank, First Bank. Hey, brother, we don't own none of them. We got to go to somebody else. Who owns them banks? The white man owns them banks. Read it again.
and thou shalt not lend to him.
He shall lend to us, and we shall not lend to him. Read.
He shall be the head.
He's going to be the top of the world. The white man has conquered the whole world. We don't understand that. All right, he has conquered the whole world. Read it again.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Are we not at the bottom of society? Why are we at the bottom of society, though?
Because we choose, I guess.
Huh?
Because we choose. Right?
You said because we choose?
I mean, subliminally.
Because we don't keep the commandments.
Because we don't keep the commandments. Remember, these are the curses that God brought upon us because we did not keep his commandments.
Right.
That's why we are at the bottom of society.
Which is free will.
Which is free will? You have a choice. You can live or you can die.
That's right.
That's the only free will you got. God either says Deuteronomy 28:1. Give me 28:1. Watch this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1.
Bring it out.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So now you listening to God. Now you follow all of his instructions, right? He giving you two options. So now you listen to God, all right?
To observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Choice one. Choice one is you can do my commandments and you're going to be the #1 nation on the planet Earth. Choice two was if you break my commandments, I'm going to make you the bottom of all nations on the face of the earth.
That's right.
Brother, remember what we came out here to do? We came out here to show you your nationality according to the Bible.
Right.
We are the children of Israel.
Right.
All these curses pertain to us, right?
Right.
So he said these curses going to happen to us. How do we get here to this country?
Slave ships.
Slave ships. Is that in the Bible?
Yes, sir.
You say yes, or you saying because he said it?
Slavery is in the Bible.
Or slave ships in the
Slave
Bible?
ships are in the Bible.
Because you said we came over here on slave ships. We came over here on slave ships to be slaves in America. Is that documented in the Bible?
I can't recall.
Yes.
You can't recall. Let me show you. Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Bring it out!
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So he said the Lord gonna bring us into Egypt again with ships. The first time the Israelites were in Egypt, what were they doing?
Walking.
They were slaves, right? So let's figure out what Egypt means. Give me that, Exodus 20.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
He said, I brought you out of the land of Egypt, read,
out of the house of bondage.
What did he just call Egypt?
The house of bondage.
What's another word for bondage?
Being held down.
Slavery. Captivity, right? Let's go back and read about these slave ships.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So you're going to go into slavery again with ships. If you don't keep God's commandments, one of the curses that's going to come upon the nation of Israel is that they're going to go into slavery again with ships.
That's right.
Did that ever happen to you?
No, not you. Personally.
No, brother. So God don't talk to just one person.
Yes.
He talked to a whole nation of people.
Right.
Are you not on this the United States of America because your people was brought here as slavery, as slaves, right? That's why you're here, right? Listen again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
You're going to go into slavery, but this time you're going to go into slavery with slave ships. Read.
By the way thereof I spake unto thee.
He's saying exactly the way I'm saying it's going to happen to you. That's how it's going to happen. It's not going to happen any other way besides you're going to go into slavery on slave ships. Let's keep reading.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
He said you're never going to see your homeland ever again. Sis right here, if I kidnapped you right now, right, what would be your only thought process? What would be the only thing you think about day and night? Huh? Wouldn't you be thinking about getting away from me though? We've been brought here as slaves and we never think about going home. That's how mentally destroyed we are. We want to make rules in the slave master's house. We want to vote for rulership in the slave master's house. You are a slave. You're my captive. You're not going to vote for anything. You're going to do exactly what I told you to do. We're here in Flint, Michigan. They told you to drink brown water. Guess what you did? You drunk brown water. Why do you think that happened to you? Because you have another nation over you that's telling you what to do. All right? Let's keep reading.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
He said you're going to be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, slave men,
and bondwomen,
and slave women. We was in slavery together. Let's read.
And no man shall buy you.
Meaning nobody's ever going to be able to get us out of this slavery. The Most High is so funny that he did this. He gave us Martin Luther King. He gave us Malcolm X. And then, what, about 2 years ago? No, I'll say 8 years ago, what did he do? He gave us Barack Obama. We was all shouting, my president is black. My lawnmower is blue. We so excited. We thinking we about to get out of slavery. It did not happen. What did Barack Obama do for us?
Gave us homosexuality.
He gave us homosexuality. Everything he could have done for us. He could have wiped away. He could have wiped out our credit. You understand what I'm saying to you? He could have paid off our house. He could have did anything.
Right.
He could have released our brothers out of prison.
Right.
He didn't do any of that. What he did was he gave us homosexuality. That's so right. When you go out, now your kids got to see 2 men kissing, 2 women kissing. Every time you turn on the TV, you cannot watch a program on TV without seeing some gay stuff. Barack Obama gave you that. Exactly the man you voted for. What are we here to tell you today? 46. Read this. Watch this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46.
Bring it out.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
Hold on. He said, and they shall be upon thee for a sign. What is the they? What are we reading? What are we reading right now? So we read that you was going to be the tail and not the head. We read that you went into slavery on slave ships.
Right.
We read that they was going to lend to you,
right,
and you was not going to lend to them. So what are we reading right now? No. We were reading the curses. Remember Deuteronomy 28 and 15? He said, if you don't do what I say, then all these curses are going to come upon you. Right? So when he says, and they, he's referring to the curses. Let's read it again. Watch this.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46.
Bring it out.
And you guys related to all those curses that we brought out. I could have kept reading. You related to all of them, right? You don't own banks. You came over here on slave ships. All that, right? Keep reading. Read it again.
And they,
the curses,
shall be upon thee for a sign.
The curses shall be on you for a sign. Now let me ask you this. What does a sign do? It showed you something. You wouldn't know McDonald's was McDonald's if it didn't have the big golden arch, right? Burger King wouldn't be Burger King without the sign that said Burger King. The nation of Israel is not the nation of Israel if they don't have these curses on them.
Right.
So if you see a nation that's just boiling out of control, that's not the children of Israel. But if you see a nation that's going through curses, that's the children of Israel.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are Israelites. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have repented. How about you? People want to know who's the king.
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.